All right, hey there, crew. Happy Wednesday. We have some fast-paced interval work to do today. 3 5-minute AMRAPs with a 5-minute rest in between each one. Plenty enough rest so you can recover enough to maintain the intensity and the speed of the work in each of the AMRAPs. Each AMRAP starts with a jumping station, either single unders, double unders, line hops. Check my programming notes, a lot of options there. Whichever one you choose, let's try to keep it to about 2 minutes or so on the jumping part. All right, so if it happens to pass that the clock hits the 2-minute mark and you're still jumping, go ahead and stop and move on to the rest of it, right? So limit that to 2 minutes. So we have at least 3 minutes to work on the AMRAP part, which is lateral over the dumbbell burpees and some kind of a weighted movement. So the burpees, that's always 6. These are lateral. We come up out of the burpee, we jump laterally over one of our weights. And the other movements, basically going from a pretty basic weighted movement to a more complex one. In the first AMRAP, it is just dumbbell squats or some kind of a weighted squat, pretty simple there. The second one is thrusters, so it's a little more complex. That is a squat and a press. And then the last one, the last AMRAP, with the least amount of reps, thankfully, is the most complex movement. It's called a cluster, or a squat clean into a thruster, where we're bringing those weights up. We're cleaning the weights, we're squatting, and we're pressing. So the movements, the weighted movements get a little bit more complex, and the reps go down a little bit as we go. Ideally, I'd say we're shooting to probably maybe 3 or so rounds in each one. The scored portion, what you need to keep track of is how many rounds and reps you get inside each AMRAP. And again, I'll stress the fact the jump rope station only happens at the beginning of the AMRAP. You do not go back to that, okay? Jumping station, done. Move on to the burpees and the weights, okay? So let me demonstrate the movements for you. I'm going to demonstrate with 2 dumbbells, but again, check the programming notes that I provided for you. These can be done with 1 dumbbell, 1 kettlebell, whatever you have on hand, whatever works best for you. So let me show you. So first movement, pretty basic, weighted squats. We're going to have 2 dumbbells, right and high on the shoulders, right? Elbows forward, weights up, full squat down, breaking parallel at the bottom, and standing all the way up. This can be done with 2 dumbbells. This can be done with a goblet style like this. This can be done with 1 kettlebell, whatever you have. Next movement would be the thruster. We're just adding a press into that squat. So same idea, dumbbells right at the shoulders. We're going all the way down at the bottom, full squat here, and then a full press overhead. Just trying to make sure those hips and knees are fully extended before the weights leave the shoulders. And again, that could be done with 1 dumbbell, 1 kettlebell, a slam ball, whatever you want to use. Then the last movement is the squat clean thruster, or a cluster it's also called. For these, we send the hips back. Just the top part of the bell has to touch the floor just outside the feet. We're jumping up to the shoulders, we're cleaning, we're squatting, and we are pressing. The weights come back down to the floor each and every time. Squat and press. And you can do those with 1 weight. You can alternate hands. Again, check the programming notes. What I want you to think about today while you're doing this workout is what your feet are doing. With your jump rope, or your jumping in general, let's think about trying to go fairly low on our jumps, especially if you're jumping rope today. Our ropes are really relatively thin. And if you're good with a jump rope, if you're good at single unders, if you're good at double unders, what we look for is a relatively low jump and really fast wrists. So something to practice today is spinning those wrists really fast. You want a lot of speed in the wrist and a relatively low jump. This is going to help save energy for the rest of the workout, because the higher we jump every time, the more energy we use. So trying to keep those jumps relatively low. With our burpees, what we want to do here, if we're jumping over a weight, we're jumping over 1 dumbbell, we're jumping over the handle. When we jump on these over the dumbbell, we can jump 1 of 2 ways. The less efficient way is by pulling the knees up, right? We're kind of raising the whole legs, and our legs pretty heavy. If we can actually kind of raise the heels up, we're actually just kind of kicking up that lower part of the leg, so it's less weight. So think about kind of doing, it's almost like a little donkey kick. A little more efficient than pulling those knees up in the front and lifting the entire leg. You're just lifting up the lower leg. So think about that when you're jumping. And then another thing to think about is when we're jumping in our burpees, and we're jumping with a rope. We're more kind of on the front part of our foot, balls of the feet. But we don't want to do that with our squatting. All three of our weighted movements today have a squat involved. We want to make sure that full foot is on the floor, particularly the heel, but the entire foot, big toe, little toe, heel, full foot is down for your front squats, your thrusters, and your squat clean. So keep that in mind, right? We're going from a kind of more on the toes movement to a more heels down movement. Just be aware of what your feet are doing. All right, that's it, guys. Get after it. Have a great workout. I will talk to you tomorrow.